Thanks for being here, Jenny.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
I love being here. I love talking. It's probably a good thing that we don't get on Zoom very often because we just we
that's
talk,
true.
talk, 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 talk.
That's true. Oh, imagine if we could have coffee with each other. We'd have to schedule the whole afternoon. Clear my
Okay,
calendar. I'm gonna go meet Jenny.
okay. I'm okay with this. Oh my
Oh,
gosh,
I
I'd
love
probably
it.
get more done with you than I would with almost anybody
Well,
else.
that's the thing. When you're working with people who get shit done, you guys get shit done.
Yeah.
Welcome to Gratitude Geek, the relationship marketing podcast, helping DIY marketers find your micro influencer magic so you attract raving fans and repeat buyers. I'm your host, Kandas Rodarte, and today we have an amazing guest. She's a friend of the show. She's a certified professional coach and the host of the Badass Direct Sales Mastery podcast and summit. She's none other than Jennie Bellinger, also known as the Direct Sales Dom. Jenny works with Badass Direct Sales moms who are ready to take their income to the next level and retire their spouses from the job they hate. As an entrepreneur herself, she understands the struggle of balancing family and work life, especially while raising two kids and going through a divorce. But don't let her nickname fool you. Jenny's methods are effective, not painful. She knows firsthand how important it is to provide for your family's future while being present with them in the here and now. So if you're a direct sales mom looking to level up your game and provide for your family, you won't want to miss this episode. Without further ado, let's welcome Jennie Bellinger to the Gratitude Geek Podcast.
Whoa, yay.
All
Thank
right.
you so much, Candace. You're awesome.
I love you, Jennie Bellinger. So I didn't just call you Jelly Bellinger, did I?
I don't know, maybe, but you wouldn't be the first, and I'm sure you won't be the last.
It happens. I've noticed that I call you that when I speak quickly, and I am a fast talker because I'm a Californian. So this is the second time you've been on the show. So catch us up. What's been going on since the last time you were here?
Oh my gosh, so much, so much. Recently somebody, and by somebody, I mean somebody with pink hair, informed me that my podcast is number one in network marketing on Good Pods. So there's that going on. And I went on the marketers cruise and that was amazeballs. Oh my gosh. If somebody listening right now has a business, whether it's in network marketing, direct sales, or just, whatever, I'm going to put air quotes around this traditional business, and they can market anywhere in the United States, anywhere in the world, you need to think about the marketers cruise because it's amazing. The networking that happens, the support that people give. Like I had these major names in the world of online marketing pouring into me in my business. And then I was able to then turn around and do the same for others because they had questions about how to monetize their podcast or how to launch a podcast. And I was like, here, let me share with you some basic information, the do's and don'ts. Avoid this at all costs in podcasting. Do this other thing because it always works. And I was able to, like, it was this great flow of amazing energy. And oh my gosh, marketerscruise.com. And if it's by invitation only. So when it says who invited you, just make sure you select Jennie Bellinger. And although I think they have me listed as Jennifer Bellinger because I had to put my official name. So yes, it's the same person. I'm not in trouble.
I was invited to attend that cruise, and I'm kicking myself now for not going.
So go next month, or not next month, next year. Go with us. I totally want to meet you in person.
I'm still just a little leery because COVID is still a thing. So
It is.
when it's not a thing like it is, when people aren't dying every day from it still, then
makes perfect sense. Do what is best for you. Absolutely. And as soon as it becomes an option for you, hop on board because it's exhausting. Be prepared to take like 2 days off after you get back to just sleep
or a week. I might need a week.
Or a week, whatever.
I invited you on the show because I wanted to talk about the disc profile because I hate the disc profile.
Really?
And I hate it. And so I wanted you to talk about it because people ask about it a lot. And I understand that it's important, but why do you think I hate the disc profile? Wait, hold on. We'll get into that in a minute. But before we dig into that, I want you to answer a question for me, because you brought it up, because you said that, how do I do this with my podcasting? How do I monetize my podcasting? And I've noticed that you have an advertisement, quote unquote, slash and slash, at the very beginning of your show. And I've also seen where people put the advertisement about 2/3 of the way or 1/3 of the way into the show.
Mhm.
So as someone who is starting to dabble with putting ads in my show, what's the reasoning behind that?
It's easier to put it at the beginning. No, seriously, what I'm doing is right now I'm just kind of dabbling with and testing the advertising piece to see, like, is anybody getting pissed off about it? Like, are people leaving bad reviews about it? No. So far, nobody's left a bad review. I only do live reads of things that I believe in. So if a company tries to give me money, and this has happened one time, company tried to give me money, they wanted to advertise on my show, and I was like, I'm sorry, I'm not burning my audience for you. Mm-mm. I have
Yeah.
integrity. So I only do advertisements for things I actually believe in. And right now I'm checking to see, like, it's just kind of, I'm trying to get data, right? Because I know the reason that some podcasters put the ad right in the middle is because people are less likely to fast forward through it. So that is prime real estate. So what's coming up for me next in the monetization strategy for my podcast is there's going to be different advertising pricing. So right now it's $500 for somebody to sponsor the episode that they get to be a guest on, and then they get 3 or 4-ish. Sometimes I do it 3 times, sometimes I do it 4 times. Depends on how much I like the person or the company. Ads on other shows that are non-sponsored. And it's a live read by me, but it's all at the beginning. At some point, there's probably going to be, I don't know, double pricing to put it in the middle, because frankly, it's more work and you're more likely to actually get heard, because if an ad is at the beginning of an episode, people can just hit the little 30-second, like, boop, boop. Okay, now we're to the show, right? They can fast forward through it. But what I know about people who listen to podcasts is oftentimes they're listening while they're working out, driving, folding laundry. They're doing something. They are not right next to their phone. They have their AirPods in or earbuds in or something going on. And so if an ad shows up in the middle of an episode, they're less likely to fast forward through it.
Well, I rarely ever fast forward through things in a podcast, because it's not convenient for the most part, unless that's the only thing I'm doing. Because when you're listening to a podcast, you're doing something else. I'm either doing the laundry, folding the laundry, or I'm on the elliptical, or I'm washing the dishes. So it's not convenient to fast forward.
Right.
So I understand that. So you just do it because it's easy. So for someone listening to this, because I get the same question. I mean, can you believe this? My 10-year podcast anniversary is coming up. Can you believe that?
That's amazing.
My mind is so blown. Because I was like, no, that can't be true. And then I did the math. And I'm like, yeah, it is. So I have to come up with something really cool to do for it. It's January 1st, 2024 will be the 10-year anniversary. So I've got, what is that? 9 months. I got 9 months to figure out what to do. But
you should totally do a gratitude retreat.
Oh,
like a whole freaking weekend. Invite like all your favorite guests and do like a weekend live in person, re-interview people, let them share their special like thing that they're amazing at or whatever, and just make it a whole freaking retreat.
In the middle of January, we'd have to go someplace where it doesn't snow.
Yeah, Michigan would not be a draw in January, especially.
Although
I don't know that I get to be one of the people, but fingers crossed, I hope I do. Yeah, no, I don't want to go to Michigan in January.
But if you're like me, my favorite thing to do in the winter is go to the lake, to the beach, and go to the lake. Because not this winter, we didn't have it didn't get cold enough this year. But in the winter, sometimes in the winter, the icebergs on the lake are so tall, they could be 20 feet high, and it is so much fun to climb up them and look. When you climb up on the top of the iceberg and you look out over the lake, I swear to God, you can see Wisconsin. Not really, but
wow,
it is just amazing.
That is pretty cool. But in January, I want to go somewhere warm-ish.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you know what I would recommend? Oh, Oh, treehouse cottages in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. Everybody gets their own like treehouse cottage. And then
That
it's their off
sounds.
season, so the pricing is really good. But every
It doesn't
treehouse,
snow, but it does get cold in Arkansas. It does snow in Arkansas, doesn't it?
oh yeah, the first and only time I was ever at the treehouse cottages, it snowed the weekend we were there. But every treehouse has like a jacuzzi tub in an alcove, like outside alcove of the treehouse cottage. So it's inside the cottage, right? But it's completely surrounded by windows. So I was sitting, I'll send you the picture. I was sitting in my little jacuzzi tub with a cup of coffee while it was snowing outside. It was chef's kiss amazing. Like,
I I
oh,
I want to experience this.
it was amazing. That
But that would mean I'd have to go to Arkansas.
you'd have to go to Arkansas, and I don't. It's Eureka Springs. It's amazing. It was absolutely beautiful. Now would be the time to book it, because it is off season for them, and so the pricing is unfreaking believable to get a whole weekend in one of the cottages, and then your guests can all like bring their spouses or partners or whomever, and have a fun weekend. And then you do a little thing at they have a haunted hotel that probably
Oh.
has a great conference room that would be fun to meet in. And I'm just saying there's options.
So I haven't put on an event like I've never hosted a retreat. I've only attended a couple of retreats. And the last time I did a major event was over 7 years ago. So that's a lot of work. I don't know if this is going to happen, but something cool will happen. And I like the idea of using past guests.
I mean, why not? I mean, and then you get to we love networking, right? That's how we met, right?
Yeah.
But then we all get to network with each other and get to know people we don't know. And,
Wait a minute. How did we meet?
we met because I posted my Badass Direct Sales Mastery Summit on the BNI Referral Exchange. And for those of you who are BNI members and you're going, what's the referral exchange? Reach out to me. Let's have a one-to-one, and I will teach you how to use the referral exchange to build your business and meet amazing people like Kandas Rodarte.
Yes, it is. The perks of being in BNI are phenomenal. A lot of people say that's kind of expensive, and I'll say I don't belong to BNI for my chapter membership. I belong to BNI for the perks.
Oh yeah, the amount of support and bonuses, and I'm putting air quotes around that, that are included in membership are amazeballs. The training that they have in BNI Business Builder alone, you would pay $1,000 for to get one course.
Yeah.
There are coaches out there, top level coaches, who are charging $1,000 for one online course. And you can do your BNI membership for about $1,000 a year.
Yeah.
And have access to all of the online courses that are available.
And the speed networking and all the other networking opportunities. So 3 of my last 4 clients, I have to clarify this now because it's not true anymore. I used to say my last 3 clients. Well, for the last, month, I said that. But 3 of my last 4 clients came from BNI speed networking, or people that I met speed networking.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Okay, let's talk. Now that we've done that, is there anything else about podcasting we should cover for the folks listening?
If you want to know the ins and outs, the to-dos of launching and all of that, I do a podcast consultation. It is not free anymore because I had so many people who wanted to pick my brain. I was like, I have clients that I need to meet with, but it's a really reasonable price for somebody who really wants, if they're going to monetize their podcast, I do not hold anything back in this consultation, and it is worth every freaking minute. So just reach out. I'll send you the link. People can do it there. So
that'll be in the show notes.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what I have no idea what episode number this is. Just go to gratitudegeek.com and look for this episode, and it'll be in the show notes.
There you go.
Okay, so let's talk about DISC. Want to guess why?
Hate it?
Why do you want to guess? Just guess. Why do you think I hate DISC?
I don't know. Because I love it so much. I can't imagine somebody hating it.
Which letter am I?
You must be an S.
No. You don't know what letter, you can't tell what letter I am.
Well, you're also an I, but
Nuh-uh. I am a D. I am a high level
Oh.
D.
And so why do you hate DISC?
Because I don't like being told what to do. And
DISC doesn't tell you to do
but
anything.
it gives you it puts me in a bucket, right? Puts me all of these personality tests put you in a bucket.
DISC is not a personality test.
Okay, see, there you go.
Number one, if the listener takes nothing else out of this episode except this should be the number one thing that people walk away from this episode. DISC is not a personality assessment. Personality assessments, and I am obviously very passionate about this. Personality assessments tend to tell people who they are. DISC is a behavior assessment. DISC lets you know how you are showing up at the time that you take the assessment.
Yeah, that's probably
it changes. It changes. So it cracks me up anytime I talk to somebody and they find out that I'm certified in the DISC, like assessing the DISC and reading the DISC and coaching around the DISC. And they're like, "Oh yeah, I took that assessment like 10 years ago and I was and I am." They say I am. I'm an I. I'm like, "No, you're not." I'm like, "What do you mean?" You might have been an I 10 years ago when you took it, but you have not shown up as an I in any interaction that I've had with you at all. Like, I have literally told people, I'm like, "Here, go take my assessment. It's totally free. I'm telling you, you are not an I right now."
So the link for the assessment will be in the show notes. And then hire Jennie to help you with it.
Thank you. No, but I'm really passionate about it because it shows you who you are when you take the assessment, and you have the ability to change that.
Yeah. Right? I don't know if I want to change being a D though. I like being a D.
Well, yes, because you get stuff done. And you like getting things done quickly.
Yeah. Well, and the whole premise of my coaching program is I help solopreneurs get shit done.
Yeah.
So I have to be a D so I can do that.
Right. And what's nice about it is because it's a behavioral assessment, not a personality assessment, you can dial things up and down. So when you're in your coaching, you can show up as a high D. But then when you're in podcasting, you can show up as a high I, which you should, because that's how you get your listeners on board with loving you, because people love high I's.
You have to be a chameleon, but an authentic chameleon. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it's just taking who you are and dialing it up more, right? It's not that I'm telling people be something different. I'm not saying if somebody's like a 34 I in a natural environment, I'm not telling them to adapt to a 99. I'm saying go from a 34 to a 50. Just dial up a little bit of who you are.
So let's
or dial it back, whatever you need in the moment, because it's how you show up. It's not changing who you are. It's changing how you show up, what behaviors you're exhibiting.
So let's go back to fundamentals. What is DISC and what do the letters mean?
Good question. Okay, so DISC is a behavioral assessment. DISC stands for DISC, right? D is dominant, right? A dominant behavioral style. High Ds get things done, and they make decisions quickly, they think quickly, they speak quickly, they want results fast, right?
And we're really good at bringing other people along for the ride too.
Oh yeah. As long as they're also a high I or a high S.
Okay.
You have to high Ds who are just high Ds, or high Ds and high Cs. High Ds and high Cs are the worst combination for actually getting stuff done around other people. They're really good at getting stuff done on their own, but if they have to lead people, high Ds, high Cs are results and process oriented. So as my DISC mentor and coach taught me, high Ds, high Cs are dicks.
Okay. Well, no, I'll take that. Actually, I will take that because I can be.
Right. But here's the thing. Again, when you want results and other people are involved, right? Then you just dial up the people side, the I's and the S's. So I's are influencers, inducers. They are very charming, right? High I's can get almost anybody to do almost anything because they're so charming.
And what does I stand for? Influencer?
Influencer or inducer.
Okay.
They can induce almost anything, right? And they do it naturally. And because here's the thing, high I's truly love people, and the other people around them feel it. They are very good at showing up, loving everybody, and they're not being fake about it. They really and truly love. High I's love everybody. I know this because I'm a high I. I'm also a high D right now.
I'm not an I at all.
Yes, you are.
No, I don't love everybody.
Not everybody, but you love enough people,
Oh,
right?
that's true. I love on people. The people that are in my circle, I love on them.
Yes. Yes. And and again, there's a difference between who you naturally are and how you show up when you're around other people, right? Because that's also what shows up on my disc report that goes out to people, is they get to see who they naturally are, and they get to see who they show up as when they're around other people that they don't know or that they feel judged by, right? So that's a whole other thing. So anyway, back to disc. D, dominant. I, influencer, inducer. S, steady supporter. The S personality is all about steady pace, and they are people oriented. So they think slower, talk slower. They are all about the making sure everybody involved is on board and okay. And they are also making sure, and you'll notice I've slowed down my speaking because I'm talking to the S's right now. The S's, they really want to take things at a good pace. They want to make sure that everyone is well taken care of. So that's the steady supporters. Or man, I could go so deep telling you all about the history of disc, but the S by the original person who came up with, which is Dr. Professor William Marston, S is submissive, which works really well with my BDSM theme.
Yeah. I like supportive better.
Yeah, but S's do tend to be submissive. They will follow a high D personality. Or I'm sorry, a high D behavioral style, right? Because they prefer to be led. High S's don't tend to prefer to be leaders.
For the people who I think about as S's tend to be excellent network marketers.
Oh yeah.
So I'm, I have a lot of network marketers in my circles because
Yeah.
I am one. So the people that I see with the S personality, those are the ones that are silently leading from behind and growing huge organizations.
Yes.
Like my sponsor, she wasn't my original sponsor, but you know how network marketing works. After 12 years, she's now my sponsor.
Right.
She is at the highest level of the company. And when she rink danced to that level, there were people who didn't know who she was.
Yeah.
But then there's a group of us who are loyal to her.
Right. And the high S's are submissive, right? They are serving their team. They are serving their customers. They are serving others. S's steady supporter, serving, submissive, all of those things. Submissive does not mean doormat. And I don't know how deep we want to go into this conversation, but I will say
you can go as deep as you want. You are the direct sales dom. Go deep, woman.
So in the world of BDSM, the submissive has all the power. The submissive has all the power all the time. You know why? Because at any time they can safe word out and the dom has to stop. Has to. That's the rule. That's the agreement that they've come to, right? So the submissive has all of the power. So S's have a lot of power. a lot of power, but they get their power because they serve. That's how they become so powerful, and why network marketing is so attractive to a high S behavioral style. And then the C's are compliant. They are compliant to
there must be a subtle difference here, because to me, compliant and submissive seem.
Submissive doesn't mean they always follow the rules and check the boxes.
Oh, okay. Okay. So compliant. Okay. All right.
Compliant means they check the boxes. They do all the things, right? So think of like almost all accountants are high C's. Many lawyers are high C's because there are rules and procedures. There's ways things are done. And then you do the things because that's the way it's supposed to be done. Right? A high C also takes their time. Slow thinkers, because they want to compare to the way things are done and make sure everything is right. They want all the information. So in the world of business, this is the customer or client who is asking you 7,542,283 questions before they finally go, yes, I will buy that $5 thing.
Oh my God.
Because to a high C, the worst thing that can happen to a high C is to make a wrong decision. Being wrong is equivalent to death. Whereas the high D's and high I's were like, oh, great, I was wrong. Data. Yeah. Okay, moving on. And a high C goes, I just made a mistake.
I love making mistakes. I love making mistakes because they are the best data point. It's like, okay, well, now we know we don't do that anymore.
Right.
And sometimes a mistake, you might think it's a mistake, but in the long run, it's not.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. And so what's really interesting, though, about the high C's, they take forever to make a decision. But once they decide, so I'm gonna put this in the world of direct sales, network marketing, and MLM, because that's my area of expertise. When you can get a high C on your team, when they finally decide to join your team and do the business, they are not going anywhere because they have not made a wrong decision. They will never question it unless like major stuff happens to shift the rules, processes, and systems that attracted them to your particular company. But they are super loyal because they've made their decision and they know they've made the right decision for themselves. And they will take their time building and selling because, again, they want all the information because they are going to attract who they are. They're going to attract more C's. So it's going to take them a while to sell and take a while to build a team. But once they start doing it, watch out, because they will have a whole bunch of loyal sellers and loyal team builders. Watch out. Give them time. Do not push them hard. But let me tell you, they are the best people to have on your team over time.
So what we're hearing here is that we're looking for behavior style C and behavioral style S when we recruit.
Yes. I's are also helpful, right? Because they are the party people. Like, especially in a party plan company, high I's do really well in party plan. And I'm like, for those of you who are just listening and not watching, I'm pointing at myself. I'm a high I. I was in a party plan company. That's where I came from, right? So I could get up, I could schmooze with the best of them. I was like working the room before I started showing off my wares. And then we had fun. And a high I is really good at fun. And they are great in a party plan.
And I have loved the concept of network marketing since I was 18 years old. I became a Tupperware consultant at 18, and I am not a party plan person. I found my best success in non-party plan opportunities.
Right? That's not shocking at all. Not shocking at all. And the great thing about, for those of us who are not high C's, because I'm a low C, which means I'm not opposed to process. I'm opposed to other people's processes.
Yeah.
I'm going to create my own because frankly, I can do it better. In my head.
I am so not a C that I don't even attend the company meetings. Isn't that awful? But you know what? You get build the. I'm still in the top 200 as a consultant. So you gotta or an affiliate. You build it the way that works for you, right?
Yeah,
If
absolutely.
using the pre-written script and the pre-written ideas isn't what works for you, but this does. I made $2 million from using my product, not commission from my product, from using my product made me $2 million.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'm doing something right. You know?
Yes, exactly. And that's that's the great thing about, again, high D's, high I's. They will go do that thing a little bit differently, right? So when somebody can understand the disc behavioral styles as a leader, they become better leaders because they're able to quickly identify, oh, my team members seem to be this. Okay, here's how I need to show up as a leader for those types of people on my team. But then if you have a subset of people on your team that are showing up as this particular behavioral style, then you get to show up for them a little bit differently to lead them that way. You pull from that behavioral style of your own and talk to them using that language. And you talk to them using the right pace, right? When you're talking to a D and an I, you talk fast. You talk fast because we're like, come on, I'm already where you want me to be. Get there faster.
I have noticed that it's so much easier for me from a sales point to be selling to a man than to be selling to a woman.
Yeah.
And that's the D.
That's the D. They make decisions faster. More men tend to be higher on the D behavioral style naturally, because especially here in our American culture, male dominance is pretty much expected, right? So they will tend to show
It's
up.
expected on the outside, but we all
Right.
know who really runs a family.
Exactly.
Just
Yeah.
saying.
Right. Oh, yeah. No. And that's what I'm saying. Right. But that's what's expected in a business situation. Think fast, make fast decisions, do the thing, get it done, get results. Like that's what's expected of men in business. And so for a man to be having a conversation with you, knowing that you are having a business conversation about your product that is available for them, then yes, they're going to want the information quickly. Give me the information so I can make a decision. Okay, cool, done. Let's do this. This makes perfect sense for me. And then they'll decide more quickly. Whereas more women tend to show up more in the S, right? That submissive side. So having that conversation is going to show up a little bit differently, taking it a little bit slower, making sure they feel good and comfortable with everything that's going on, giving them testimonials of other people who've had great experiences. Then they know that, okay, other people have had good experiences with this is good, because again, they're all about other people and having great, everybody's taken care of. That's what they want to know. So when you can show up in a business conversation, and I'm not going to call it a sales conversation because it's not sales until they literally say, yes, I want to buy. It's up until then, it's a business conversation. It's a marketing conversation. It is not a sales conversation until they're like, yes, time for money to exchange. That's a sales conversation. Great. Here's how we do that. Right. But when you're in
That's
a
an
business,
excellent definition for marketing versus sales.
oh,
Up
yeah.
until
Oh,
the
thank
point
you.
where they say, okay, I'm interested, I want to buy. Everything else is marketing. And you approach marketing a lot differently than sales.
Exactly. And what I regularly tell my coaching clients who are in the direct sales industry, I'm like, this doesn't mean we should take direct sales literally and be direct about selling, right? Let's take a page from the network marketing title, build your network and market. And then when you build your network, when you have enough people who know what you do and what you sell and what you offer, right? Because you've built a network and you've been marketing properly, you've been letting people know, here's what I have to offer. If you want it, great, come see me. If you don't, cool. Who do you know who? Right? That's marketing. Let's not sell directly, right? But in the world of disc, when you can begin to understand, when you know those 4 styles really well, and you can begin to see, okay, this person seems to be showing up in this style, you can begin to speak to them in their language at the pace that they prefer to be interacted with. You can show up in that own authentic version of yourself from pulling from that piece of your personality, but you can't do any of that if you don't know where you are. You have to know your own style first and then learn disc over time. I'm not saying like go whole hog, but I mean seriously, the basics in a business, knowing the basics for a business conversation will change everything in your business for the better. Everything feels more comfortable, more organic, because you're showing up and connecting with people in the way that they want to be connected with. Because I've had people say, well, isn't that manipulative? No, it is not manipulative at all. And let me tell you why. You interact with somebody and their primary language is Spanish. Is learning Spanish so that you can have a better conversation with them manipulative? No. I hope I didn't just blow everybody's ears out. But learning another language in order to better connect with somebody is not manipulative. It allows for a better connection, right?
Yeah.
The same is true for showing up, like I said, dialing up your own version. I'm not saying if somebody's a high D at 99 that you dial yourself up to a 99. No, but what you do need to do in order to connect better with them is dial up your own D. So if you're at the 34, dial it up to a 50. That you will connect better with them, and both of you will have a better experience.
Yeah. I worked in a hospital. One of my very first jobs, I was an admitting clerk in a hospital, and I had to learn how to ask the admitting questions in Spanish so I could do my job, because I'm from California. And I don't know, for those of you who don't understand your history, California was part of Spain. And so there are a lot of people who speak Spanish in California who've been there for hundreds of years. So Spanish is a dominant language there. And I lived in a place that was pretty agricultural. And so there were a lot of Spanish speakers there in general.
Yeah.
So I had to learn how to communicate with the people coming in by learning how to ask the questions on the form in Spanish. That was one of the first things that we learned. That was good because it made the process go by quicker. There was no struggle.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not manipulative at all.
No.
So the same is true when you get to know the 4 styles of disc and utilizing that to better connect with the other person, not for the purpose of selling them, but for the purpose of connecting with them. So that way you can have a better conversation so that by the end that they will be closer to making a decision one way or the other, because a no is just as valuable as a yes. Maybes are the worst answer ever you can get.
They're frustrating because you don't know how to follow up with a maybe.
Oh, I do.
Oh, please share how to follow up. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you how to follow up with a maybe.
It looks like this is not for you because you haven't said yes or no. So I'm going to pull back and we're not going to have a conversation about this anymore.
Oh, that's brilliant.
This works for whether you're trying to sell them a product or market a product to them or make a decision or not about your team. When you pull back and go, you know what, this is obviously not for you because you're not, if it's not a hell yes, and I learned this from Paulina Tenner, I interviewed her on my podcast, please go listen. If it's not a hell yes, it's not a yes at all.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if somebody is saying maybe, it's really a no, or they need more information, right? So I learned just take it back, and then if they go, like if you can literally, like it was a no, they didn't know how to tell you no.
Yeah.
Or if they go, no, I need this. Great. So then you go, what do you need to decide? But I need a yes or a no. I can't do this fence setting thing. What do you need to know? And lead the conversation in that situation, right? Be the leader in that situation and just either do the takeaway, right? Obviously this is not for you, or what do you need to know in order to make a decision. Because a high C will be a fence sitter for quite a while. But when you ask the question, what do you need to make a decision? Then they go, oh, I need this, 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 this. They'll tell you all the things they need in order to make a decision. You get them all that information, give them time to review it, and then go, when would you like me to follow up with you? They will give you the timeline. And then when you follow up with them, they know you follow the process. You become more endearing to them because you follow process. And you have a loyal customer or team member.
I hope everybody just took notes, because I'm going to re-listen and I'm going to take notes. And then I'm going to teach it to my team.
Do it. Or you can have me come teach your team, because that's something I do. I do team trainings.
Oh, woman. So tempting. Okay. When this episode drops, it will have already happened. But the Badass Direct Sales Mastery Summit is something that you have put on twice a year for the last couple of years. How did you become inspired to do that?
The summit is something that I saw someone else do, and I went, I can do that. I wanted to do it for a couple of reasons. First of all, I wanted to find a way to share my amazing network of experts in all different areas of business and life with the direct sales and network marketing and MLM audience. Because I know one of my keys to success was I did not rely on my company to teach me everything I needed to know.
Yeah, you can't do that.
I took their trainings. I attended trainings. I did the company training. I did my upline leader training. And I went out on the internet to find what I could, and like followed people like Julianne Jones, who doesn't do network marketing coaching anymore. I followed people like Jackie Ulmer, who doesn't do network marketing coaching anymore.
She doesn't? I didn't know that.
Yeah, she switched to like
real estate.
No, she's working with pilots' wives because that's who she is.
Oh, she got when you narrow your niche, man.
Right? She figured out she's really good at working with pilots' wives because she is a pilot's wife, right?
Yeah.
But I went and followed all these other people who were giving me information, who like I was not listening, because I didn't know what a podcast was until I had heard podcasting until 2017, but I didn't know how to actually like listen to one until probably that year, when I finally went, well, BNI has one of these. I guess I should go listen to it. But I went through and, I wanted all these people in my network to be available to people in direct sales and network marketing. I also knew that this would be a great way to help get more people knowing who I am and what I do. I mean, I'm going to be fully transparent. This is a great way for me to get introduced to new people.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Now know who I am and what I do and what I offer. It's
Even
brilliant.
The connections that you make when you do things, when you just go out on a limb and do things different.
Oh, yeah.
When I say yes to things, sometimes they don't work out, but sometimes they change your life.
Yeah.
Sometimes they change your life. And meeting you has been life-changing.
Oh, I feel the same about you, my dear. Absolutely.
Okay, I told you this morning that we got the mutual admiration out of the way, so we can... Oh, I love it. Okay, so when is the next? Now, the March 2023 summit has already passed, but when's the next summit? Do you have a date?
Well, I'm doing them annually now.
Oh, good. Because it's exhausting. I'm sure it is for you.
It is. And because I don't do like the small mini summits. Like when I do a thing, okay, my new tagline is I don't half-ass anything, I badass everything.
Oh,
so, right.
Jennie Bellinger, that is awesome.
Right? So because I don't half-ass anything, when I do a summit, I do a summit.
Yeah.
Right. And so I figured out I am burning myself out doing this twice a year, and my team was ready to kill me. And so I'm like, I'm going annually, and I'm finding other things that I can offer that are not as intensive in September. So doing little mini things here and there. I have the podcast available. It all times. A new episode drops every week. I've only missed 2 weeks ever since March of 2020.
Wow, good for you. I usually
I
take the
dropped
winter off.
no. For me, the only reason I missed 2 weeks is because I had life happening, and then I wasn't paying attention to my project management software, and I was like, "How come there's no episode this week?" Gosh. And so the first time that happened, I just did a quick recording, and did a quick recording, and then immediately like uploaded it. Pretty much just slapped an intro and outro on it. Didn't even edit it because I was like, it's just me. It's fine.
Yeah.
It'll be fine, she said.
Yeah.
And then the other time I was like, you know what? I'm taking a break. And I was in the middle of going through my own, I was going through another coaching certification through contact mapping. And
we can talk about contact mapping when we're done with this.
Yeah. So I was going through a really intensive time in my life. So I went to my team and I said, here's what we're doing. We're doing classic Jennie Bellinger episodes. So I just went and picked like 6 of my favorite episodes that I've done and put them 6 weeks in a row. And I said, if people have already listened, good. They need to hear it again. Because I'm a big believer. Whatever somebody is hearing right now is what the universe is saying you need to know.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah. I do. I release classic episodes when, like a guest passes away, I'll re-release their episode. Or if something happened in the world and that episode means something about what happened in the world, I'll re-release an episode. Or if I just am exhausted and I don't have anything queued up, I will re-release an episode.
Same. I mean, like I said, because some of my episodes are just me. Most of my episodes are me interviewing somebody else. So I now have over 185 episodes to pull from.
Yeah.
So I can just pull that content and throw it up there again, and just give people the opportunity to hear what they're supposed to hear in the moment that they're supposed to hear it. So
yeah. Well, and that's the thing about podcasts is sometimes they find them on their own. It is amazing to me when I look at my stats, which I don't do very often, but when I look at my stats and I see that there are episodes from 5 years ago, 7 years ago that are, still getting played. And then sometimes they get shared. When they get shared, like really special ones. Like
yes.
I interviewed Mark Herdering, the author of Hanging Out for a Living, which was hands down my very favorite networking book. And he passed away, I don't know, 3 years ago. We became very good friends after that interview. And I was one of the first people he called to let us know that he was
ill.
Short term. He's a short termer. And he was so amazing. And then, while he was sick and after he passed away, that episode, without me doing anything, that episode just sort of took a life of its own for a little bit. And that happens.
Yeah.
That happens.
My guess is, just pulling from my own podcast knowledge and knowledge of humans and people, is quite possibly his friends and family were going and seeking ways to listen to his voice again.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to hear from him.
Yeah. And we talked about all the things that he loved to talk about, cigars and whatnot. So he was such a good friend. And he was the person who told me to stop chasing after rank advances and start focusing on the money.
Yeah.
And that's when the shift in my head went from, well, this product that I represent makes me money when I use it.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to focus on using it more to make money in the business that pays my family's bills. And by doing that, that company started to pay my family's bills, just because I would, when you emulate desired behavior, I wasn't doing the thing that I was trying to tell people to do. Right. I was using it for that business, but I wasn't using it for the other business the way I should have. And then I started to use it in the other business the way I should have been using it. I was like, oh, holy moly, look at all these orders.
Right. Yeah. Because suddenly people go, oh, that's how that works. Right. They don't get it until they see it. Right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
man, we need to wrap up. Do that. How is that even possible? Oh, it's because I'm talking to one of my favorite people.
I know. I was going to say from now on, when we record these episodes, we need to put an hour before and an hour after, so we can have our before time and our after time in the green room.
And I have never been a guest on your show, and I actually owe you an interview. So that's on me because I'm the one who dropped the ball on that. So we'll have a conversation
we need
again.
to get you on 2, 3, 4 times. Absolutely. Because people need to hear from you.
Oh yeah. So I thank you for doing the thing that I asked you to do, which is talk about DISC, because that is something people need to know about. And I was resistant to, but now I do have a little bit of a better grasp of it.
Do you feel better about it?
I do feel better about it.
Hate it.
And
right?
I'm going to go take the DISC assessment on your website. The link is in the show notes, guys. GratitudeGeek.com. Jennie Bellinger. Look for it. There's 2 episodes with her. You want the second episode, the most recent one, to get the assessment. Although I could probably go back to the show notes from the first interview and add them too.
Oh yeah, probably.
Yeah. So we've talked about a lot of things, and I think I already know the answer, but what's your favorite marketing tool, tip, or technique?
You are probably corrected knowing which one I love the most. It is contact mapping, because the one place where a vast majority of people, and this is not just a direct sales network marketing MLM thing, this is a people thing where people in business drop the ball, is the follow-up and follow-through and connection piece. So my favorite tool is contact mapping. Because for me, what it has done is it reminds me, because it's not a CRM. Okay. For people who've never heard of, they don't know what CRM stands for. It's customer relationship management or client relationship management tool. Contact mapping is a PRM, personal relationship management tool, right? Or just an RM, relationship management tool, right? For those who are ADD like me, or ADHD, or neurodivergent, or neurospicy, I don't care what you call it, any of those works.
Neurospicy is good.
Neurospicy, right? I am neurospicy. I need those reminders because I can get so hyper focused, head down in the business of being mom and podcasting and all of that I forget to reach out to friends, that I forget to reach out to my mom, that I forget, like, for things other than I need something from you. And what helped me realize how beneficial contact mapping was I went to go send a message to my mom asking her to watch the kids once again. And I started scrolling through to see, like, what were the last 10 messages I had sent her? What were the last 15 messages? And every one of them was, hey mom, can you watch the kids? Now, I'm a single mom, so my mom knows that this is a thing, right? But I did not like how that made me feel. And I was like, this is my mother, woman who gave birth and raised me. I need to do better. I need to be a better daughter. So I put her in my contact mapping, and now I have her in my rotation of remember, which reminds me to reach out to her every once in a while and say, hey mom, let's go do brunch. Hey mom, how are you doing? How's life? What's new? Like, just reaching out and being a human being with my mother. I mean, who doesn't want to be a better human being?
That right there is gold. It's gold. My mom passed away 12 years ago, and I don't get to say, hey mom, let's go do brunch. Yeah. That's pure gold. Pure gold. I just got a little verklempt. We're recording this the week of the Oscars. So the Oscars happened this week. And I know that was a couple of months ago, guys, but so I've gotten over it, but I've been a little teary-eyed recently since Sunday, because my mom would have just been ecstatic with the way the Oscars went down this year. I mean, the first Asian woman, I don't know if he was the first Asian man, but an Asian man, an Asian best score, and majorly Asian best movie, and best picture. So my mom just would have been over the top, because in the 70s, when I was a little girl, Connie Chung was the only person on TV that we saw that looked like us. So yeah, I've been thinking about my mom a lot lately, and thinking about how much she would have loved the Oscars, and she would have loved Michelle Yeoh. I think she did love Michelle Yeoh, because Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon was one of her favorite movies. So,
well, then there you go.
Yeah. So she would just be over the top about Michelle Yeoh. Anyway, Wow, I didn't know I was going to get all teary-eyed about my mom. So I don't use contact mapping because I have a different system that I use that works for me.
Absolutely.
So the important thing here is that you find a system that helps you follow up that you will use.
Yes. The best relationship management tool is one that you will use. And I'm telling you right now, that's what the CEO of Contact Mapping says. He's like, if it's not ours, that's fine, but find one that works for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I love, part of the other reason that I love Contact Mapping is none of it is automated. It's not automated text messages that are going out. It's real text messages from me.
Yeah.
All it does is just reminds me to be the person that I want to be.
Yeah, which is fabulous. And I have friends that use it that are raving fans of the product. So there will be a link to Jennie's contact mapping link in the show notes.
Yeah. So basically just go to the show notes, y'all. All the things are there.
I love it. All right. We have to wrap up. I can't believe we have to wrap up already. How is this even possible? So this is your moment of gratitude. For whom or what are you most grateful?
You know what? We are recording this on my best friend's birthday. And so Virginia Mooskies is who I am grateful for today. Knowing her has changed my life in so many ways. She is absolutely amazing and brilliant. And I wish more people knew her and her amazingness because the ripples of amazingness that are going out from the people who do know her are huge. And so I'm super grateful for my bestie, Virginia.
Thanks for tuning in to Gratitude Geek, where we help DIY marketers attract raving fans and repeat buyers. Don't forget to check out the show notes at gratitudegeek.com for links to all the resources mentioned in this episode. If you enjoyed it, please leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. Our theme music is by Rev Brock and Solely. I'm Kandas Rodarte, reminding you that gratitude is like manure. It's just a pile of poo until you spread it around. Stay groovy, my friends.
Stay groovy, my friends.